Hello.
Hi, Alf.
Oh, can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Oh, you're not missing much.
Welcome to Alf.
Thank you very much. It's been I'm sorry about the last couple of weeks. It was a bit of a problem, but the local football here with this COVID-19 moved all the teams into our state, and they've been playing games everywhere.
Yeah, no worries about that. That's fine. We got there
Yeah,
in the end, didn't we?
that's the main thing. Yep.
So, how are you doing?
Oh, pretty good. A bit sad on what's happened this year with the COVID. Like this time now, should be in Edmonton competing at the World Championships in the 80-plus age group, but unfortunately we're not, and a lot of our stuff in Australia has all been cancelled as well. But our first one starts up in about a month's time, so which is good.
Yeah. Has it got worse? Because we've heard reports that things have gone back in sort of like backwards.
Oh, yes. In Victoria, down which we live in Queensland, which is the top half of Australia, and ours is pretty well under control. But in Victoria, they're having a lot of trouble down there.
Yeah. I was actually over at the Gold Coast in 2018 racing.
Oh, at the World Championships.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I raced in them as well. Yeah, that was quite a good day, wasn't it?
It was absolutely fantastic.
What did you think of the course? It was pretty flat.
It was very flat, yeah, but it was
Yeah,
all right because it was a drafting race, wasn't it? So it wasn't so bad.
yeah. Well, we only live. Well, in actual fact, the bike course went right past my house.
Really
We only live about 10 minutes from the start of the race, so it was very good for me.
fantastic.
Yeah.
You're such a lucky man living there. It's an absolute brilliant place.
It's a beautiful place, but my wife and I went to London for the first time after Rotterdam,
Right.
and we spent a week or so there, and I absolutely loved the place.
Yeah, yeah. I think I prefer the Gold Coast to London, to be fair.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm talking as purely as a visitor, you know.
Yeah, fantastic. No, we had a great time. Want to go back someday as well because it's just fabulous. The whole experience, the race organisation, and
Yeah, it was very well done.
it was absolutely brilliant. Great experience. So, if you want to tell me a little bit about your background, a little bit about growing up and your sporting achievements, and then
Yeah, well,
how you got into
it's as you know, in a couple of weeks' time, I turn 80, so I've had a lot of years behind me.
yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, I was born. Well, it's funny. They're celebrating 75 years of the war finishing today in Japan.
Right.
And I remember that day. I was only 5. I remember the people jumping in the street, which is interesting. But I went to a school. I played rugby league at school, not rugby union or football as you call it. And in the early days, I used to do athletics, and I'd done athletics, track and field up until I turned 40, and then I joined the Masters Athletics. And then during that time, I done quite well. I won an Australian championship in the pentathlon. I've run about 7 marathons over the last few years. The last one was a few years ago now. I've run quite a few half marathons, and now I belong to the Queensland Masters Athletics. But a couple of years ago, I stepped down. I was president for the local club here for a very long time, but I stepped down to concentrate on my triathlon. I started triathlons back in 1975.
Right.
Just before my 75th birthday. And I started in a little small one, only a couple of 100-meter swim, and I bought an old bike from Kmart. I don't know whether you have Kmart over there, but
Yeah, but I know they're a big supermarket. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, it only cost a few dollars, type of thing. And that was my first bike. And then the next event, I competed at Australian Championships, and I finished up getting a silver medal in my age group.
Fantastic.
And then I went on, and then the following year, I qualified, and I went to Cozumel.
Right.
And Cozumel was absolutely, oh, I loved Cozumel, you know, different culture altogether.
Yeah.
And I absolutely. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I'm still here. Yeah, don't worry. Yeah, I'm just letting you go, letting you talk. Tell me your story.
Oh, right. No, and then it was just a fantastic. My first world championship, wearing the Australian uniform.
Yeah.
It was absolutely great, you know.
Yeah.
And then I went to Rotterdam, and then but my last year I went to Lausanne,
Yeah.
and I had in the bike leg coming into transition. The bike for some I still don't remember because I was knocked out.
Oh, no.
Had a big crash, broke my shoulder, and that put an end to Lausanne.
Yeah.
But you know, I got back on the water after a couple of months, and I got back on the bike again. You can't let these things worry. You've just got to keep going, keep on.
Yeah.
Just keep doing it. So I'm in training. I mean, as I say, I'm in the 80 to 84 age group, and I'm loving every minute of it. You know. People say to me, well, I put something on Facebook today and they said I was insane for what I do at my age. But when you love something, you just got to keep doing it.
That's it. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, totally agree.
And I have great support. You know, I love all the people. You know, I'm always down near the end somewhere, and all the support you get along the way. You know, they cheer you along, and it just makes you feel like somebody. Yeah. And you know, the guys up the front, they're zooming past me. They're all the good boys, and they're getting accolades, and so am I. You know, good on you, Alf. And they call me Alfie because I got Alfie on my wetsuit, on my tri suit. Yeah. And as they go past me, good on you, Alfie. You know, and I've got great support from my club here. It's called T-Rex Triathlon Club. Right. And it's the biggest club on the Gold Coast. It's absolutely fantastic, and they really look after me. And of course, I won't mention them here, but the only reason I've gone to world titles and got going is sponsors. I've had sponsors. Like I've got two bikes given to me, you know, brand new ones, you know. Yeah. And I've had this, and I have people look after as far as vitamins and things like that, and all my clothing. Well, you probably know Decathlon Sportswear.
Yeah.
Decathlon's a big.
I saw it on Facebook that you'd been sponsored by them. That's a fantastic achievement.
Yeah. So it's pretty good, but you know, I've still got to train. I've still got to get out there and do it. It's just, you know, they're not going to give me all this if I don't finish nothing.
No, that's true.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Yeah. What's the weather like over there at the moment?
At the moment, it's our summertime, as you know, and it's we had a really hot day last week, and this week's been a bit overcast and really, really windy. I live by the coast as well in a place called Lincolnshire, which is on the east coast, and it's yeah.
So what? Great. So what do you actually do, Richard? Do you just do all this, or you know?
Oh no,
evidently you.
No, this is just something like you guys when we were on lockdown.
Oh right.
I'm a gardener by trade. I've got my own garden. Right.
Yeah.
I was furloughed for a few weeks until they decided that we could go back. So during that time, I'd had this idea of doing a podcast for age groupers because there's loads of, I listen to a lot of podcasts, and there's loads of podcasts out there.
It's fantastic. It's a great idea.
Yeah. Well, there's loads of podcasts out there that have the professionals on and the coaches of all the professionals and, you know, some really, really top people. But there wasn't really anything out there for the likes of me and you, Alf. So I thought, I knocked the idea around, and I was bumming and ahhing, and I had a chat to my eldest son, and he said, "Yeah, go for it, Dad. It's a really good idea." So yeah, I just did the first one about myself because I didn't have anyone to interview, and I've just yeah,
No.
took it from there. Really,
Yeah.
it's just something I do in my spare time with my laptop, and I've got a list now. You're number 10, Alf. I've done
Oh, is that, well, that's a good number. Number 10's a good number.
a great number, and I've got 9 others waiting so far.
Oh, no, I want to thank you. It's a privilege to be asked to do something like this, you know, particularly from a person a long, long way away from where I live, 20,000 kilometres away.
I think it's just fantastic that we can actually do it. The technology that we've got now is just.
It's like I'm sitting in my lounge room and I can see me cat on the floor down there just looking at me, wondering what the hell's going on. It's great. It's fantastic, mate. Yeah.
It's amazing. Yeah, it really is. So tell me a little bit about your process. I know you said you're in a club and you get really well looked after. So
Yes.
for you to, I mean, in normal circumstances, say obviously we're not in normal circumstances now with what's going on. But if everything was equal, how do you go about your process for choosing races and actually training for them and getting ready for your A races, if you like?
Well, as I say, I belong to a club. I do most of the training on my own because I am the oldest in the club, and the next one to me is about 20 years younger than me. Yeah. So I do all my own training, and then I look at the race program and I think, well, I want to do that race in 3 months' time. So leading up to that, I might do a couple of small triathlons, and I use that basically as a sprint before I go into the longer triathlons. But I train around 6 days a week. Right. Some days I get 2 sessions in a day. Yeah. But like a lot of things, I do get tired, so I've got to have that rest day, and all this. But I just set myself the program at the start of the year, look at them all, and then decide on what I'll do when they're getting. So now I'm thinking now of the world's Multisport championships next year in the Netherlands.
Almere.
Yeah, so Almere, that's it. Yeah. Well, that's my goal. But leading up to that, there's an Australian championship, and there's a couple of this and a couple of that. So, so that's my ultimate goal, is to get to Almere.
Right. Okay. And what's the process for qualifying over in Australia?
Well, you've got to go in a race. We have qualifying races, and as you know, they accept 20 in a team. So you've got to be in the top 20. But in my age group, there's probably only 6 or 7 of us doing it. So as long as you do the race, you've qualified for Australia. But like the younger groups, the 40s and 50s, they might have to do 3 or 4 races just to get plenty of points so they can stay in the top 20.
So it's pretty much the same as what we've got over here.
Yeah, much the same. I've looked at your system over there. It's much the same. Yeah, mate, yeah. But as we get older, I have always said, as you get older, the closer you get to gold medals to stay alive.
That's true, but you've still got to, like you said earlier, you've still got to do all the training, haven't you? And that's
I still got to train. I still got to do the same amount of work as a young bloke's got to do, only I do it a lot slower.
Absolutely. And, you know, if it was that easy, everybody at nearly 80 would be doing it.
Everybody would be doing it. That's exactly right, yeah.
Have you got a coach, Alf?
Pardon?
Have you a coach?
No, I have a mentor. She owns the Triathlon Club that I belong to, and she gives me a lot of tips and stuff like that. I haven't actually got a physical coach. No, I haven't.
Have you ever had one?
For a while, but she let me down. This was a few years ago now. and it's not long after started, and she let me down. So I thought, well, I'll just go and do. You know, as I say, I've done a lot of training myself and coaching in athletics.
Yeah, yeah.
So what I've done is I've worked my training around my athletic coaching.
Yeah.
You know, your long stuff, your short stuff, your hard stuff, and stuff like that. And that's what I've based my coaching on for the bike, for the swim, and for the run.
Yeah, well, it seems to be doing you well anyway.
Well, I'm happy with it, and I think that's you know, if I feel I'm doing all right, well, it's doing all right.
That's the main thing. Yeah. What's your favourite part of the whole multi-sport then? The whole process?
Well, I don't like the swimming part, so we'll leave that one alone. But the running, the bike riding and the running, even though I've had a few little crashes on the bike, but I still like getting on the bike and riding along. It always feels good, you know. Yeah. And I know once I come out of that water, and I say, thank God I'm out of there, and then I'll get on the bike. And well, I come from a running background, so the running is probably the best part. And also, I'm getting close to the finish.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that's a good point. I like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Because my aim is to start, and if I start, I want to finish. And it doesn't matter where I've come, I want a gold medal in my own heart.
That's absolutely right. Yeah. Yeah, that's a brilliant answer. From a diet point of view, Alf, what sort of things are you eating? It intrigues me because you know, we've got a guy in our club who's 75. He's still working for his you know, his own business, and he's an inspiration to us all, to be fair. And like you, he's qualified for GB in several races. It always interests me when you get into your age. What's your diet like?
I don't eat anything special. I've just had normal food all my life. I do have some vitamins and things, but I eat plenty of fruit. I drink water, but no, I just eat ordinary food. I like me desserts and things like that. There's nothing special in my diet whatsoever.
Wow. And what do you eat before a race then?
Well, before a race, for a couple of hours before, I always have my Vitabrits. I have Vitabrits every morning. I had done 4 Vitabrits every morning. I'll have that, and I'll have some toast, and then I'll just drink water. And during the race, you know, I might have something to like a something, you know, there's little bags to suck on and take some carbs in, you know.
Yeah. Can you just explain what Vitabrits are?
Gels they call. Sorry. Can
you just explain what Vitabrits are?
Oh, you don't know what they are? Wheat Bix, Vitabrits. It's a breakfast cereal, and it's made by Kellogg's.
Like a Weetabix.
Yeah. Well, you probably call them Weetabix, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I've got that now.
I forget I'm talking to England.
Yeah. There's not many differences, but subtle differences.
That's right, mate. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Yeah, that's.
I'd love to come to England and try one of those. That big series of triathlons you have over there. They go to the castles. They race around the castles.
Oh yeah. I know.
Yeah,
I can't think.
Or the London. Sorry.
I can't think what the races are called, but I know you.
I know what. Yeah, and also that London Triathlon looks inviting too.
Yeah. There's absolutely hundreds, Alf, to choose from, and they're all.
I know. I've looked at your program. All I got to do is I'll have to find myself a sponsor to fly me there for 2 weeks so I can do them all.
Yeah, absolutely. Because it ain't cheap, is it?
No. To enter the, and it's an average of $70 to $80. And of course, the World Championships, they cost a fortune to enter.
Yeah, absolutely. I bet you couldn't.
8 or 9.
You found out that it was right on your doorstep.
Oh, I was very, but I still had to pay the entry fee. The only thing I didn't have to pay was the airfare.
Yeah,
and the,
absolutely.
and the accommodation, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be the cheapest one you ever do. World champion.
Well, they might come back again in a few years' time, but I'll probably be passed away by then.
Oh, I'm sure you won't. I hope they come back sooner rather than later, to be honest, because it was.
Well, that's right, mate. That's right. Yeah, Australia's had the world titles here a few times. They've had it 2 or 3 times on the Gold Coast over the years.
Yeah. Like I say, a fabulous place. We loved it. So, what hints and tips could you give to anyone wanting to do a multi-sport race, and also age groupers, especially around about your age, who look at you and think, "Wow, that's inspirational. How can I fly for my country?"
Well, I get annoyed, providing the person's in good health and doesn't have a bad disease. They say, "Oh, I can't do anything." See, I don't believe in that. My great belief, you can't do nothing when you're dead.
Absolutely.
So, whatever you're alive, you could do. No one. Well, you haven't got to go and do an Ironman or a triathlon, but there's walking, there's even jogging, there's everything to exercise for us older people. And if we don't exercise, we freeze up.
Yeah.
But it's never too late. Death is too late.
Yeah, that's a great way of looking at it. Great way of looking at it.
Yep. I do a few talks to. Well, I'm doing one next week to a pension group. Just to have a talk with them, not to tell them to do triathlon, but just move the body a bit more.
Yeah. And do you do a few of those, Alf?
Oh, not many, but I'd like to get into do a lot of them actually, because I feel I've got a story to tell.
Absolutely, yeah. You definitely. Yeah. And have you had any sort of like success stories from those talks? Have you found that people look at you and they've actually?
Well, I know since I've taken it up, there's probably a half a dozen people that I know have come and started to do triathlons. Wow. A lot younger than me, but in their 50s and 60s, and they've taken the sport up. So I think that's good.
That's fantastic.
Because they enjoy the sport, Yeah. And one thing, if it's raining, you can't run or ride, so you go for a swim, or vice versa. You can always do something.
Absolutely, yeah. So that just goes to show what you're doing is working,
Yeah. You just got to put it all into perspective, and you got to listen. I mean, one of my biggest sponsors is my doctor,
right?
And she's very, very good. I mean, she just brings me in just to check me over, type of thing. So which is great. But listen to your body. Don't overdo it, and always exercise within your own means.
Yeah. Wise words, Alf. Wise words.
Thank you.
What are your favourite pieces of equipment that you've got?
Oh, well, I suppose everything. I love me 2 bikes. I like getting into a tri-suit because I don't train in a tri-suit. I have racing clothes and just training gear. Yeah. And as soon as I put the tri-suit on, I think, oh God, I'm Superman now. But if I go for a swim, I just have normal swimming trunks on and swim in those. I go for a run, just a singlet and running shorts and all the bike gear. Yeah. But once I put that Australian tri-suit on, or my own tri-suit, I feel like I'm a different person altogether, because I'm out there to do something and I've had to train to get to that spot.
Yeah. That's a great way of looking at it. Actually, I've never thought of that. Yeah, it's like a what am I trying to say? It's like a superhero's mask or cape, isn't it?
Yeah. I do not, and I'll never have. I do not train in stuff that I'm going to race in.
Right.
All through my running career, I have my special racing gear, and I might have a couple of runs just to get it ready.
Yeah.
And well, I like my shoes well worn in, of course. I always run in those or ride a bike. And no, I mean, yes, I'm telling a little bit of a fib. I do ride my bike at training, and I ride that in a race, but I haven't got my racing gear on.
Yeah,
I've only got ordinary bike gear.
Yeah. Well, there isn't any one specific thing you really like, sort of like using, or some people it's a pair of trainers, or it's the watch that they use, or the bike.
Oh yeah, well, yeah. Oh yes, I use one of these watches that tells me everything, and that I love doing, because when I come home I put it into my computer, and that way I can look back 2 years or 3 years and see how I've been going. But over the years, I've always kept a training book, no matter what I've been doing in my life. So I've got books here, goes back years, you know.
Right, yeah, got you.
I think that's important. Always put down what you've done.
Yeah. I think it's so easy these days, isn't it, with technology? Because everything, all my gear's linked into Strava, so everything I've done's on Strava. So it's just so easy. It just goes straight from your watch onto Strava. Doesn't it?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, I'm on Strava.
Well, I'll have to look you up then.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I'm thinking of actually doing an AMP Strava page. So if I ever get round to it, I'll put you on. But I'll look you up anyway, and I'll follow you.
I hope you do. I hope you do, mate. And I'll look you up and follow you.
Nice one. Nice one. How are you after your fall? I noticed on Facebook you'd had a bit.
Yeah, right. Well, I was wearing a pair of older shoes. I thought I'll try these and see how they feel. And they were and as soon as I got home, I threw them straight out, because the shoe actually bent and tripped me over. I've got a few bits of skin missing, but skin grows back. And I had a ride this morning. I done a 20K ride this morning, and I'll go for another bit of a jog tomorrow and a swim.
So nothing damaged too much. You're all right.
No, not at this stage. No, and my wrist is a bit sore with my hand when I tried to stop myself, but that's all right today. It's not too bad. Someone said I'm a tough old bugger, but probably also insane.
Well, you know what? It's probably a lifestyle that's if you weren't doing what you were doing and you'd fallen over, you might have broken something. So
well, yeah, that fall in Lucerne last year. I mean, my shoulder. Well, the bone still sticks out of my shoulder, but they didn't put it in because they said it's not worthwhile putting it back. Just leave it there.
Right. Yeah.
But
you've got the wounds.
I suppose
you've got the war wounds to show for it, eh?
Well, if you haven't got wounds, well, you haven't done nothing.
That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The scars show that you're living, don't they?
Yeah, you've got to have war wounds. When I took my first spill on a bike, because I hadn't ridden a bike for over 60 years when I went on, and I had a spill early, and they said, "Well, welcome to triathlon."
Yeah. Yeah, if you haven't fell off your bike, I always tell people this: if you haven't fell off your bike, you're not a proper cyclist.
No, that's right, because you're not putting the work into it, you know?
Yes. And those drafting races can be a bit hairy at times.
Yeah, well, I don't draft at all. I stay away from that.
Yeah.
Because, you're dealing with people that can really ride bikes, and, well, to be truthful, I can't keep up with them anyway.
Yeah.
So unless I've got an old bloke about the same age as me, but him and I draft together because we're too bloody old to do anything else.
That's fabulous. I love it.
Yeah.
I believe that your wife competes, does she?
Yeah. Well, she runs in Masters Athletics. She's a track and field person.
Okay.
And she's an 800, 400 metre runner.
Oh.
And I remember my first triathlon, I went in, I had the bike, she's on the sideline, I come out of the water, run straight past my bike, and she's screaming at me to go back because my bike was further back.
Yeah.
But without her, she's I tell everybody she's my manager.
Yeah.
You know, she makes sure everything's packed and everything's ready to go, and she checks it and stuff like that, you know.
It's great to have somebody who's interested and
Yes, she does. Pardon?
It's great to have somebody who's interested and help.
Oh, yes, it is great. Yeah, it is great. Yeah, and no, she's a great help. Matter of fact, in Lucerne, just a little story. She never heard that I was in the medical tent when someone texted her from Australia,
Oh,
because it was coming live stream, and they could hear over the microphone, "Does anyone know whereabouts of Mrs. Lakin? Tell him her husband's in the medical tent." So they texted her from Gold Coast to Lucerne, and that's how she found me.
Oh, wow.
She was waiting at the at T2 and thinking, "Geez, I'm taking a long time to get there." Well, I was in the bloody medical centre.
Oh, dear.
But it's all fun. You put it behind you and just move on, mate.
Absolutely. Well, you're doing absolutely fantastic, and you are an inspiration to us all. And
thanks, mate.
It's really nice to talk to you and to hear your story. And thanks for coming on AMP. And I think we can wrap it up there, unless you've got anything else you'd like to add.
Not really, mate. And when will this be on Facebook?
Well, I'll knock an email out to you before it goes out. I've got one going out on Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Yes.
Yeah, that's episode 9. So yours will be probably 2 weeks' time by the time I've got it edited.
No. Sounds good, mate. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah. So I'll get an email over to you before it goes out and let you know. And yeah, you'll see things popping up on Instagram and on Facebook. I put sound bites on, as you know. So.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah. No, and once I get it, I'll send it everywhere.
No, that's fabulous. We are slowly getting traction. It's taking time, but things are taking off. But I'm just doing it because, like I said to you earlier, I just love speaking to people like you and listening to the stories and being able to share it with our community. I think, especially worldwide, it's just fantastic. I was speaking to a Mexican guy last night on Instagram. So it's just really, really good.
What is your Instagram?
Well, I've got my own personal one. Is Richard Conway.
What's the what?
AMP. It's AMP.
Can you send it to me?
Yeah, of course I can. Yeah.
Yeah, just email it to me and I'll pick it up, and that way I can talk on Instagram with you too.
What's yours, Alf?
It's just ALF.
Yeah.
1940.
Right. I'll follow you, and then you'll have it.
Yeah.
You'll have it. You can just follow me back.
Yeah. No worries, mate.
Excellent. Well, good luck with the rest of your training, and I hope we can sort of get back to some sort of normality.
So do I, mate, because there's nothing worse training for no reason.
Well, I think I always say at the end of the podcast, keep training, stay safe, and most importantly, just love the process. Because at the end of the day, yeah, the racing's great, but we're doing this because, one, we love doing it, and two, it just improves our lifestyle, doesn't it? It's a lifestyle thing.
It is a lifestyle. Yeah, my whole life is built around it. Exactly. I've got 3 people. I've got 2 people on my life. That's my wife and my cat. He's about 15 years, 16 years old, so he needs me too.
Yeah, absolutely. Fantastic.
All right then.
Right, that's fab, Alf. So I'll send you an email when it goes out, but you'll obviously see all the posts. I'll catch you up on Strava. I'll catch you up on Instagram, and we'll keep in touch.
Okay, mate.
Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Right.
Love the process.
See you later. Stay safe, mate. See you later.
Yeah. Cheers, Alf.
Bye. Bye.